Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. It's a great honor and privilege whenever we have these DNA houses to be surrounded by so many innovators, thought leaders, and instrumental systems and pioneers of spaces that are categorically transforming the world we live in. It's a very exciting time to be alive. I feel that many of us feel that there's a renaissance happening throughout the world across so many different avenues and verticals of our society. And AI, which has taken the world by storm, is centrifugal to every conversation we have. And it's a great privilege for me today to be moderating a very important conversation. We're going to use this more of a fireside chat than a panel presentation, and to be including two pioneers in their own right within the world of tech, Web3, and AI to educate us, inform us, and deepen our understanding about the role of global leadership in AI and Web3 and how it's shaping and transforming the world. So without further ado, I would love for Mr. Anurag to please introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your background, and then Mr. Suzuki the same, and then we'll get this going. Thank you.
Yep. Hi, Anurag. I'm a co-founder of Whale. Previously, I co-founded Polygon as well. Been in the crypto space since 2017. Built a lot of fundamental crypto infra. I've been, before that, I spent 11 years in fintech. So I've been in like a lot of tech engineering product roles, building fundamental infrastructure. And I fell in love with blockchains after I read Bitcoin white paper, and so I've been going down the rabbit hole since then.
Yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone outside. Thank you. My name is Takamasa Suzuki. Friends call me Mac. I am the AI research and engineers. And my focus area is the image processing AI. So the pictures and movies and so on. And today is our exciting day. That's my first project. Just will launch our tokens today at Gate and MXC. So we will have the party for the countdown today, tonight. So yes, so the first one is getting soon. So we are talking about AI and the future. Yes, thank you.
Yes, thank you very much. Thank you for those introductions. Okay, we'll start with the first question, which I think is really important. How can leaders create a clear path for using AI and Web3 to boost global innovation, do you feel? Mr. Anurag.
Yeah, so I'll answer this in maybe two parts, right? Like, I mean, first the AI part and the Web3 part, and how these two intersect as well, right? Like, so I think from a Web3 angle, what I really passionately believe is, everything that holds value in the world is going to be tokenized. When I when we generally kind of view tokens, right? Like we think of them as financial assets, for example, and so on. That's been the the bulk of the tokenization that's happening. But tokens are much more than that. Tokens are anything that represents value. So your identity can be tokenized, your data can be tokenized. There's a lot of stuff around that we don't really think of as tokens can be tokenized. Like, to be very honest, like, just consider an example, right? Like your data in, let's say, in Amazon, um, or your viewing history in Netflix, for example, all of these are very siloed in their proprietary systems. Google handles some data, Facebook handles some data, and these are siloed, and you can't. So the where I think Web3 is going to play a major part is in this increasing tokenization of the world, right? Like, because because this data remains siloed across these different proprietary systems, these don't talk to each other. These are not interoperable. Tokenization is going to make this much more interoperable, right? So that's one part. The other part from a AI perspective is that AI, so the one part is the AI compute part. The second part is access to data. Like high quality data, right? Like right now, if you see the models, especially on the LLM side, these are basically trained on public data that is available on the public internet, right? Like there's a lot of private data sets that are not accessible to the LLMs yet. And you want them to be touched by those, but you also have to be sure of privacy concerns. For example, you cannot be just giving out your medical history data or whatever, right? Like to these LLMs, for example, right? Even now, when you're kind of chatting with these LLMs, you're not really sure how your data is being handled in the backend, for example. So I think essentially these are all getting very mature pretty fast, very powerful pretty fast. I am able to kind of today with AI code 80% of, let's say, a product using AI tools today. I can generate like a short video or image using generative AI today, for example. One of my close friends, like pivoted from blockchains to building a movie making tool in AI, for example. So all of these things are becoming very, very important. Now we have to, of course, it's not all there yet, right? Like we don't really have AGI. I don't think AGI is coming soon. Like, I've dabbled with a lot of AI tools in the recent past, so it's going to take some time. But these are already very useful. Now you have to see how to use them, and I think a lot of people haven't experimented with so we should get our hands dirty and like get to testing some of these.
Wow. I
That was
totally
a
agree
lot.
with you. Yes, yes. Well, yes. I'm from Japan and living in Singapore now. And I used to work studied at Ohio State in the United States. Any Buckeyes in here? Any Buckeyes? We are become the national champions on the American football this year. So we are the champions. So any Buckeyes? Lucky guys? No. Okay. So since I have graduated Ohio State, many students come from all over the world. And at that time, I want maybe the borders will disappear, and also we have to should disappear the borders all over the world. And once I am in the Web3 and blockchain industry, wow, there's no borders, and the issues is worldwide, and we have to solve those issues globally. So that's from my side I'm from Japan and studied at Ohio State and living in Singapore, and it's globally. So the blockchain is the solve my eyes open. And AI side, well, it's maybe we have start something from a few people, maybe one leaders and one tech guy and one financial guy, then maybe start up the company soon. So the AI helps a lot. And also maybe and the other side, the issue is the AI is not good for the environment. So on the Web3 time, we only use a CPU. So if you searching the Google, then only we use a CPU. But in the Web3 area, if we use the ChatGPT or OpenAI, then we use a GPU, and it's cost a lot. And also it's cost to the environment. So that is the change. So we have to think about our environment also, how we have using the computer power around the world. So, but good thing for blockchain is the decentralized GPU or decentralized storage. So we can gather those additional computing power together by the blockchain that makes good futures for our humanity. So that's, I think. Sorry, did I answer your question?
Yeah, so you're basically saying that we can facilitate AI to help us deal with challenging issues, to resolve contemporary obstacles at hand, like the ecosystem, for example. Which brings me to another question that's relevant. How do we, as a global community, reinforce leadership to contend with the ethical issues of not only AI, but also the adoption and practice of a decentralized world? I mean, that's kind of a very big question, but how would we approach that from an ethical, global perspective, Mr. Suzuki?
Well. Yes, I am not good at the English speaker.
You're doing wonderful.
No. But AI helps some speaking to English speaking, and also we can exchange translate from Japanese to English maybe, and so it helps something, and also
So you mean it builds bridges of language barriers?
yes,
Okay.
and also we have. So I said no borders because if we can understand your cultures and your humanity and your religions and so on, and your background maybe. So we have some AI can support us to the living so the gap between the living cultures, the gap we can fill in. So that's AI can help a lot. And also the blockchain just proof of the truth of those. So who is doing doing the good things and speaking well, those is helped by the blockchain, I think. What do you think?
Great answer.
Yeah, I mean, I think, and this is my personal opinion, that like ethical concerns are a little bit, I would say, too premature at the moment, because it's the technology in AI, especially, is still very evolving. Like a lot of companies speak about the advent of AGI, but to be honest, that's a marketing, it's just marketing hype. Like, I mean, a lot of people use it for fundraising. I mean, you can't merit a $360 billion valuation without having invented AGI. So essentially, the thing is that these tools are pretty powerful. They are getting better and better. But the reality is that most people are still trying to figure out how to work with these. Like, I'll tell you, if you think that programmers are going to go obsolete because LLMs are able to kind of output high quality code, try building an app with LLM tools today, right? Like, I mean, maybe it'll be able to generate 70% of the code, but to finish the remaining 30%, it's going to be a nightmare. Uh, LLMs are still not being used in production code yet. Like, for example, as simple as, I want to create an interface where I say I have to, let's say, do my travel itinerary for going to, like, let's say I want to travel back to Dubai or Singapore. If I just want to say it in voice and want it to be automatically executed, even that small problem has, like a 1%, 2%, 3% error rate, which can destroy a production system, if not deployed properly. So I'm saying basically we are not there yet, and so when some of these ethical concerns are raised, these are a little bit futuristic. We still have to work with the technology more, because I don't think like we are at too much risk of like this being misused. I would say we rather want more experimentation, more at this point in time, to see what can be done and what cannot be done.
Yeah, so that brings me to the next question. How can AI and Web3 better help us with challenges so that we can lead? No, it doesn't make sense. My own question. How can AI make Web3 better, and what challenges do leaders face in dealing with them?
Yeah. So the thing is, see, why something like a Web3 is important. Like Mr. Suzuki said about like global borders, like no borders, or like the world being increasingly networked together. Like there used to be a time, maybe even 20, 30 years ago, when everything was in silos. Like commerce was limited to countries. Like there was limited inter-country commerce. Today, like you can sit in the US and order goods of Amazon from China, and you are reasonably assured that the payment will go through, the goods will come back. People work from home all the time. You can work from Vietnam, Thailand, and you work for a US company, for example, right? Like, I mean, so the thing is that because of the internet, because of all the connectivity, now there is much more interchange of information, interchange of services, interchange of goods across. And so before 20, 30 years ago, there was this clear distinction between developed countries, developing countries. And because some countries were developed, they grew much faster. Now, because like you have this very smooth interchange of information flows, goods, services, people. Someone sitting in, let's say, in India, like a young developer, I know lots of developers, young developers in India who get a salary of $100,000 and more, but they still work out of India, for example, right? Like, I mean, and that's becoming more and more common. And so what that causes, and why this is possible, and why this was not possible with the legacy system, is like funds are difficult to be transferred. Today, a swift transfer still takes 2 days, 3 days, 7 days. But like with something like Web3, USDT, I can do a transfer which settles in seconds or minutes, for example. You can do permissionless loans, collateralized loans with Web3, for example. You can do trustless swaps, like of assets. And sometimes, like even us in blockchain, we don't hype this enough. Like something like Uniswap, for example, which works on Ethereum and lots of other blockchains. These enables atomic swaps, or like non-custodial swaps. Like if you kind of think of the mental picture, something like an NYSE, a Nasdaq, or any exchange, you typically have a custodian that handles the stock, the funds. Settlement happens after 2 days, for example. Um, the technology for real-time settlement is available on blockchains today. It's just not been widely adopted by those in fintech, but like the technology is there today. And a lot of people are using this to do a lot of stuff there. And similarly, in like these tools will be increasingly co-opted by AI agents, for example. Like even simple things like booking your tickets, all of this will be automated away. Like maintaining your wealth management, for example. Like so, yeah.
Amazing. So
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the reality of where we're heading in this landscape, which is we're moving into a collectively global creator economy. And so the true autonomy potential of individuals is being pioneered in a way historically it's just never been done before. As global leaders that are building the infrastructure of the tech, how do we direct to maximize and empower the creator economy to lead us to a viable reality, as opposed to a destructive one?
Okay. I always telling our engineers that my company vision is here and mission is there and the goal is there. So that those is the one directions. And if they don't understand our vision, then the engineers making the different software, for example, and so our developers in China and Malaysia, and we using the AWS in Tokyo and Singapore and so on. So we have different team, but the vision is the same, and everyone seeing and watching, looking the same direction. Then we can share our ideas, and also I am the leader of the internationally, then they understand myself too. So the conclusion is that communication is important.
Very much so. I think it's not only a global creator economy, but I think we are moving into a vastly adopted community of communication in a completely different, detailed way.
Yeah, we think so, and AI helps something. Yes.
Mr. Ira.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, if you kind of look at it, right, like news is delivered first on Twitter, not on news channels today. Like if I want to check for something that happened like 2 minutes ago, 5 minutes ago, I go to Twitter. I don't go to a news channel today, right? Like I mean, and you don't kind of think of Twitter as creators, but it's essentially, you know, like they are creating news content, or you know, like it doesn't feel like news, but it is news. Lots of, you know, like if you look at the generally considered content creator categories like Instagram, TikTok, the social, I mean, it's basically everyone is a producer, everyone is a creator in that sense. You know, like movies are being released on YouTube, for example. Short films are being released on YouTube. Netflix is greenlighting a lot of independent films. TikTok, you know, like everyone expresses their, you know, brand promotions happen there. A key thing that is missing is that monetization is very hard on these platforms. Like if these platforms take away a significant chunk of what they could potentially earn, and most monetization happens off the platform. So, you know, like an Instagram influencer gets paid by the brand of the platform, not on the platform, for example, right? Like, so I think there is increasing opportunity for new platforms to kind of take that opportunity and run with it, right? Really, I mean, I don't think there's any one single creator platform that really gives the creator the monetization tools, the way to earn a living, for example. Because let's face it, like a lot of people are turning creators, turning influencers or potential influencers, for example, and that's the way the economy is going, really. um, and traditional structures are being changed. So there is, you know, like immense potential for Web3 and AI to kind of contribute to, and we have like a lot of projects in our ecosystem, like Lens, for example, if you've not heard of it. Like Lens is this very important social media protocol that is, you know, kind of trying to take on the social media giants, which, you know, like provide social graphs, for example, and so on. Like some very simple thing, like you really cannot export your friend graph from something like Instagram outside. You know, like these platforms control to that extent. So you know, very much looking forward to how, you know, like both Web3 and both AI can help here.
Thank you so much. I think we're going to open up to some questions now about how we can best serve leadership in a global AI and Web3 market. If anyone has any questions for Mr. Suzuki or Mr. Arun, please let us know. We'll share the mic with you. If not, I'll end with one last question. How do you see the next 5 years developing in the creator economy, integrating Web3 and AI, and where do you see most of that optimization happening? Do you see it in platforms that are building more monetization opportunity or anything else? Mrs. Suzuki.
Well, yes. So what's happening
Next
in
5 years.
5 years? Okay. Yes. My focus area is image processing. So what happened is there may be the glasses display or contact frames inside in your eyes, then it's everything there, and AI recognize what you want to do and what you're interested in, then it's automatically displayed inside of your eyes. So the lens is there. So so the lens is there, then what is going on is the AI, your personal AI or AI agent recognize what do you want and what is your request to your lens. So AI recognize your personalization, your favorites, and so on, and what time you're sleeping and what time getting up. And I usually take the coffee after get up, then maybe some AI recognize my coffee and give me at the table there. So that's happened. And also, next 5 years, AI agent is something like the brain for the human robotics. So your personal AI and train them for yourself, then it's getting do your human robotics support you. So he knows what I want to do for the next. So the morning after the coffee, we have the toast. Then human AI is automatically create and cook for me. So that's happening within, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years later.
So the integration of robotics, AI, merging into our daily lifestyle practices.
Yes. And sometimes for the Web3, then we works for 24 hours. So then my personal AI read in the people, my team in Europe, then my ideas automatically telling them and communicate with them. So I am the long sleeper, so I have to on the bed in 10 p.m. But yes, after the 10 p.m., my personal AI is working.
Yeah, no time off ever, not
No.
even 2 hours of sleep.
But this is the time we have to train my personal AI. So within the 5 years, that's the train time for my AI. Yes. What do you think?
Mr. Anur.
Yeah, I think see, if you kind of look at it from a content creation angle in general, like, or any other productive activity, like, if you kind of zoom out a bit, like, how do we produce any content or go about any job? Is like, if you go down to first principles, it's about first you have some thought about it, you think about it, and then you kind of like act on it, execute it, for example. So if you see today's tools, right, like today's tools, you go to a generative AI, you say, okay, I want to build this image, like, let's say, rabbit like character driving a bike, for example. I'm just giving a random example, and it'll generate it, right? Like, so that's something that you have expressed in text. Now you have like voice input models that take it a step further. Like, you don't have to type, you just have to say it. Then like Google just released the report, which they've been kind of working on some tools which can basically they were working on this brain computer interfaces without non-invasive, like like basically you can. So literally I think in a 5-year time horizon, I'm pretty much sure that rather than having to type it in, rather than having to say it, you can just think it. And so the concept of creation of anything really, not even content, anything really, is it's going to become so easy to, like sometimes, like if you zoom out a bit, right, like sometimes, like you see a movie, you see a director talking about it, saying that I had this vision in mind, I couldn't translate it into the actual implementation. That happens because everything is very clear in your mind, but when you actually try to bring that to reality, there are of course like changes in how it happens.
How to output.
Yeah. And what I think is like in 5 years for sure we are going to have these tools assist humans in such a way that they can make this process more exact. Like what you think, you can actually go and create. And this is not only software, movies, like as you said, right, it is also going to get into robotic helps. You can do more physical stuff, for example, and so on. So I think 5 years for sure this is going to see like a lot. And I think in 10 to 15 years, like the world is going to look very, very different. We'll have to figure out what to do when most of this stuff is automated away.
Yeah, very much so. I think that the exponential aspect of the technology is beyond our comprehension at the moment. And just to play devil's advocate here, Mr. Anurag, I do feel that the question of AGI and singularity is quite mystical at this point, and it seems far away, but it could be sooner than later. So we just keep the faith, keep working hard, and AI learns from us. It learns from our thoughts, it learns from our actions, and ultimately it will be the interpretation and the revelation of the status quo. So I think community now more than ever, borderless borders now more than ever, unity across all frontiers, and I do believe we're heading into a beautiful future, and I hope you feel the same.
Absolutely.
Yes, I think so too.
Thank you so much for sharing this time with me today. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.